co-founder for Appknox. Also, Mr. Raghunandan, who is a digital innovation strategic specialist at Appknox. Yeah. On today's agenda, okay, can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. On today's agenda, we'll be talking on Bulwark, who is a value-added distribution for Appknox in the region. We'll be talking on Appknox tools, which can enhance and magnify the security testing process. We'll be discussing also on the technical solutions from open source tools. We also will be discussing on how companies or the organizations can plan their steps very carefully on the Appknox tool. We also will be discussing on how to perform automated vulnerability assessment on the mobile applications, which will be followed by a quick demo on Appknox tool. And finally, we have the question and answer sessions. On the next slide, please. Yep. We Bulwark as cybersecurity validated distribution for information security solution in the region. We have 23 plus years of experience in Middle East, and in India, we have almost 6+ years. We are a company established in 1999 in Middle East, and we have established in 2017 in India. We carry 28 plus technology vendors with 700 plus business partners across Middle East and India. Next slide, please. Yeah. Let's see what are the benefits which we provide to our partners. Yeah. So Bulwark, as an organization, we established with an excellent track record in delivering world-class products and excellent customer service. Bulwark partners with the best of breed technology vendors. We offer award-winning products with excellent customer service. We deliver round-the-clock value-added service through our partner network across Middle East, AAC, and Indian subcontinent. We also work as an extended arm for the security vendors whom we represent in the region, promoting and selling the IT security solutions and through our reseller channel partners. We also have dedicated sales, marketing, and certified technical team for all the solutions which we carry. Now I pass it on the stage to Mr. Harshit Akarwa to take it forward. Over to you, Harshit.
Thanks a lot, Rahul, and thanks a lot to Bulwark team for helping us set up this session, and thanks a lot to all the attendees for joining the session. I'll start with giving a brief about Appknox and also as per agenda covering some of the topics. With me, I have Raghu as well, Raghunandan with me. So I'll give you a quick introduction about myself. I'm CEO and co-founder at Appknox. I'm third-time entrepreneur running a successful company currently, which is profitable, working with 500 plus clients globally, spread across 30 plus countries. Apart from that, I have Raghunandan with me, who is digital innovation strategist at Appknox. He's a seasoned product management professional with more than 10 years of experience in solving business problems, managing stakeholders, driving successful releases across multiple domains like EdTech, legal, cybersecurity. And his major expertise is in product management, release management, agile methodologies, user stories, stakeholder management, and UML. With excellent communication skill and quick learning abilities, Raghu excels in decision making, problem solving, analytical thinking, and currently he advocates clients globally in adopting best-in-class security framework to proactively mitigate their threats. So welcome, Raghunandan. I'll quickly start with the demo, and Raghu Nandan will majorly take care of product demo walkthrough and talking about feature sets of Appknox. So let me give you a brief about what we are, what we do. So we are Appknox. We have more than 60-member team working across the globe, serving 500 plus clients. We have scanned more than 20,000 applications. We are listed by Gartner as one of the top mobile application security vendor. Apart from that, by Enterprise Security Magazine as top 10 vulnerability management solution provider. As I mentioned, we are a growing company working with some of the Fortune 500, Fortune 100 clients. We have grown at 2x since 2018, adding as many number of clients every year, plus also growing in the width and size of the company as well. What exactly Appknox does? So we are plug and play mobile security platform that automates mobile security assessments. I'll let Raghu walk you through the demo, and then I'll jump on talking more on how Appknox works and how it uh, uh, like walking you through all the feature sets of the Appknox. Let me quickly give you a brief about our customers as well. So we work with 50 plus enterprises, 20 plus government entities across the globe, 30 plus banks. And as I'd mentioned, we work with Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 clients. So these are some of the logos which include some of the biggest enterprises from banking sector or FMCG or oil and gas, electronics, and multiple domains that we have been operating in, ensuring cybersecurity for their multiple number of mobile applications. Now, how we do it, I'll let Raghu walk you through how the platform works. Over to you, Raghu. You can share your screen and give a quick walkthrough of how exactly Appknox works and how each of these feature sets work.
Thanks, Harshit. Let me quickly share my screen. Can you please confirm if the screen is accessible?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. So with respect to Appknox, using the Appknox platform, one can perform automated vulnerability assessment in under 60 minutes, right? When we talk about automated vulnerability assessment, we do the assessment in 3 stages. This involves static application security testing or SAST. Then you can have the dynamic application security testing or DAST. And finally, we have the API assessments or the dynamic induced API assessments. So this forms our core automated VA offering. Along with this, we also have an option where our end users can, request for manual assessment or manual pen testing of their applications as well. That is conducted by our in-house team of security researchers. So these 2 things put together forms our core VA PT offering. Along with this, we have a couple of add-ons. The first add-on is called as store monitoring. This provides security team leaders and security team managers in any given organization with the drift detection capability. So what I mean by that is every organization would have laid down their own security guidelines and policies saying that an app needs to be assessed for security issues or security loopholes before it potentially gets released to the production. When I say production, I mean the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. But in reality, what tends to happen is the engineering teams, due to time pressure or due to the issues or due to any other issues, they might end up pushing those apps directly to these Play Stores and App Stores, skipping the security assessment, right? So but the expectation from the security stakeholders within the organization is that it is getting assessed. But in reality, that's not the case. So with this offering, you will have the visibility into the drift that has been created as a result of violation of the policy or the guidelines that has been laid down in your organization. So that's the first add-on. The second add-on offering that we have is caters to the supply chain security aspect of it, wherein we provide binary-based SBOM offering, using which you will have insights into all the components used in your mobile applications. These may be third-party components, third-party libraries or open source libraries that have been used to build the mobile application itself. Along with that, you will also get to see information around, more information around each of those components. This includes the version details, the author, so on and so forth. And most importantly, you'll also get to know whether those individual components used in your mobile app are vulnerable or not. Are there any known vulnerabilities associated with those components used in your mobile application? So with this, I'd like to kind of switch over to the demo and give you a quick walkthrough of the automated VAPT offering. Then I'll quickly run through store monitoring and I'll end this with the SBOM demo. So let me actually go over here. Harshit, can you confirm if you are able to see the screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. So from an end user standpoint, to initiate the automated vulnerability assessment, it's extremely straightforward. As a user, you'll have to come to log into our dashboard or our platform. Just click on the upload app button, select a file that you want to upload and initiate the upload, right? So when we talk about uploads, right? So our users can scan Android and iOS apps using our platform. And when we talk about Android, we support AAB and the APK file formats. And when we talk about iOS, we support the IPA file format. Now, once the upload is successful, our system automatically initiates the first type of vulnerability assessment, which is the static application security testing. So as you can see, right, you are able to see real-time information or real-time results of the static assessment. It normally takes 3 to 4 minutes at max for the static assessment to get done. While it gets done, one other thing that I'd like to call out at this stage is users need not have to necessarily come to the dashboard to upload an app like I did, right? I clicked on the upload button and then uploaded the app. We also have support for DevOps integration, right? So if the user has set up their DevOps pipeline and they can seamlessly integrate Appknox into their pipeline and push those APKs or those binary files directly to the dashboard without having to log into the UI as well. We have support for almost all known CI/CD tools out there, and we also have a CLI available in place. So as we speak, I think the SAST or the static assessment got done for this particular application. And as you can see, right, the result is almost in real time. So there's one critical vulnerability discovered after SAST, 5 high severity defects, 5 high severity vulnerabilities, 6 medium, 10 low, so on and so forth. Once the static assessment is done, the user now moves on to perform the dynamic assessment, right? So this is a stage where the user is interacting with the application. So what tends to happen during dynamic assessment is the app needs to be in its running state. So to enable that, what we do is whenever a user initiates DAST or dynamic scan, we install or we give the user a real device to use that application, right? So as you can see, since I've initiated the dynamic scan for this application, this app has actually gotten installed on a real mobile phone and it should launch in a minute or two, right? Once it launches, what tends to happen is the users need to interact with the application using the device that is provided here. Let me actually quickly refresh this page because this is a staging environment. So as and when the users interact with their application on the device, right? So as you can see, right, the app is launched. Now, as a user, you're expected to navigate through all the functionalities that exist in your application. So let me actually just click through a couple of functionalities in this application. And click on a couple more things. Right? So my interactions are actually happening on a real device. This is an actual mobile device where I'm interacting with the application. Now, once I've done this, once the user has interacted with all the functionalities that exist within their app, they just need to stop the dynamic assessment. Now, I will click on this button. Just keep an eye out on this section so that you will get to see the results getting updated in almost real time. The moment I click on stop here. Yeah. I hope you guys got to see the change in the summary graph and the count as well here. Now, once the dynamic assessment is done, right? I just showed you that as a user, I'd have to interact with the application. We also have support for dynamic scan automation, right? Meaning these interactions can also be automated via an APM script. With that, this entire dynamic scan process can also be automated. And now moving on, I'll move on to the third stage of the automated VA assessment, which is the API scan, right? Now I'll click on start, right? Now, when I was interacting with the application during DAST, that is where our system captured all the APIs that were triggered as a part of those interactions, right? So as you can see, I just had a limited interaction. So it has listed all the APIs that were triggered as a result of those interactions, right? Now, if you don't want to scan all of these APIs, right, you have an option to simply uncheck these APIs that you don't want to assess, right? Now, this is one way to filter out what needs to be assessed in terms of API scan. We also have an automated mechanism to filter this list out where you just plug in the domain or the subdomain and the APIs that get captured will be only related to those domain or subdomains. So as a result, you don't have to do any manual filtering from here. In the interest of time, I've just selected one API for which I will run the API assessment. From an end user standpoint, this is also pretty straightforward. They just come here, click on the start API scan thing, review the list of APIs, and then initiate the API assessment, right? Now the API assessment is in progress. In the meanwhile, what I want to do is I want to showcase the vulnerability details, right? The vulnerabilities that have been detected. So we test for close to 140 plus vulnerabilities. We have around 140 or test cases across the product and the service that we offer, and the results will be visible here. So for example, let me pick up this particular vulnerability that was found during static assessment, and this has been flagged as a critical vulnerability. So if I click on this, it will take me to a different page which will have more details around the vulnerability, and this is the typical structure for any vulnerability that has been detected, right? So you'll get to see the description, and then you will get to see the CVSS or the CVSS V3 score. So all our all our severity, the way we compute the severity of an issue is based on the industry standard of CVSS V3. So in this case, the CVSS V3 score is 9.1. Hence, it's been flagged as a critical issue, right? So you'll get to see more details around the CVSS metrics itself. After that, you get to see what the actual vulnerability is, what is the actual security loophole that Appknox has discovered. So that information will be available here, right? Once that's done, we also tell the users how to fix it, right? So this is the vulnerability that we found, and this is the potential way to address that particular vulnerability, right? So that is referred to as compliance solution in our context. So we provide the compliance solution as well. And we also give the non-compliant code example. Basically, this section talks about, what might have gone wrong, which has actually resulted in the issue in the first place, right? So this is basically an incorrect pattern or incorrect way of writing that piece of code, which has resulted in Appknox flagging the network security misconfiguration issue in the first place. And finally, the most important section, or one of the most important sections here, is you'll also have visibility in terms of compliances, right? So what compliances is a specific vulnerability violating, right? So for example, here in this case, the network security misconfiguration issue is violating the M3 requirement of OWASP, right? It is violating the MSTG network 1 requirement of the MSTG compliance, so on and so forth. So we have support for 7 odd compliances as of today, and we constantly look at enhancing our compliance coverage as well. And finally, you'll also get to see the business implication, meaning what is the impact, potential impact to your business as a result of this issue being flagged. Let me go back. Yeah, so while we were discussing that, the API assessment is also completed, and I'm thinking that there might be API related issues. Yeah, there you go. So the 2 issues have been flagged, 3 issues have been flagged as during the API assessment stage. So I'll quickly show you how that looks like. So you'll get to see the same, the structure remains the same. Right? So this covers our automated VA offering, right? So as you saw, it was very easy and seamless for the user to perform the end-to-end assessment for their given application. Along with this, as I had mentioned, users also have the option to request for manual assessment or the manual pen testing of their application. So they just have to click on this and fill in some fields which are on the application, the environment and all of that. Once they submit the request, our internal team gets notified and the pen testing for that particular application will be initiated. So with this covers our automated VAPT offering, right? One last bit before I move on here is with respect to our reporting capabilities, right? So once the security team, it's usually the security researchers who are left using this platform to perform the assessment, right? But the end goal is the engineering team or the development team has to fix the issues that has been raised here. So to kind of enable that, we have 3 types of file formats in terms of reporting capability itself. So we have a detailed PDF report, which is password protected. And we also provide reports in XLSX and CSV based formats, which are just a summary version. But any of these reports would contain all the necessary information for the development team to understand what the issue is and go about fixing it. So this covers our automated VAPT offering. The next bit is with respect to store monitoring or the drift detection capability that we have, right? So as I mentioned, right, so there's a gap between expectation and reality. The securities team stakeholders in an organization expect an app to be assessed for vulnerabilities before it gets released. But in reality, engineering teams might potentially be releasing the apps directly to Play Store or App Store without performing that assessment. Using our store monitoring functionality, this gives you the insight into that drift that is happening in the real world, right? So let me take an example and try and explain what I mean by that, right? So if you look at this example, right, this Easy Dairy app, it's an Android application. This application currently, or as on 19 July, which is again today, the current version of this app on the Play Store is 300, right? But the latest scanned version on Appknox of this application is 208, right? So what this means basically is there's a version out there in Google Play Store which is unassessed from a security standpoint, right? Posing a security risk to that organization, right? So that is the information that you derive out of it. We not only tell you whether we found an unscanned version in Play Store or App Store. If you go inside, we'll also tell you in which geography did we locate these unscanned versions, or in instances where it was scanned, even in that case, you'll see the geography related information. So as you can see, right, so this version of the application was located in multiple countries. So India, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Sweden, Singapore, Qatar, Nigeria, so on and so forth, right? So you'll also get the geographical aspect or the geographical related information along with the drift related information, right? Now the expectation is that you immediately upload these apps and in this version of the app and ensure that it gets assessed from a security standpoint, right? That is one. On the other hand, you can also, make changes internally, right? Internally introduce some process changes to ensure that there is no drift at all, right? So we not only highlight the applications which are not scanned, we also identify applications where even if it is scanned, that information will also be available. So for example, let's say version 300 was there on the Play Store, and that was the latest scanned version in Appknox as well. That information also gets captured within our store monitoring add-on. So this was one of the first add-ons that we had. The second add-on is with respect to SBOM. SBOM or software bill of materials, which caters to the supply chain security aspect of a binary, of a mobile app, right? So I already have run the SBOM analysis. Again, from an end user standpoint, it is very, very straightforward. When I uploaded the app to initiate the automated VA, right, to initiate SAS test and API scan, the moment the upload is successful, our system initiates static assessment, and at the same time, it also initiates the SBOM analysis, right? So from an end user standpoint, you don't have to do anything explicitly to initiate SBOM, right? Once the file is uploaded, SBOM gets done automatically for your app binary, right? So once the assessment is done, you'll be able to discover the components that have been located in your application. So in this case, this is the MFVA test application that I used earlier. You can see that we've discovered 54 components, right? And these components are of type library and framework. So all of these have been discovered, right? You'll also get to see whether those components have any vulnerabilities associated with it or not. That's the most important piece here, right? So you're seeing that there are a bunch of components which are known to be vulnerable. There's some CVE or some known vulnerability tagged to that component as of today, right? Or as of the time of generating this SBOM analysis report. So let me actually quickly open up one of these components. Now, you'll also get to see more information around these components itself, like component name, type, latest version, who was the author, and who is the license. What is the license of this particular component, right? Then comes the vulnerability aspect of it. So currently there are 3 vulnerabilities associated with this particular component. Now, in instances where we are not able to detect a specific version of a component, we go ahead and showcase all known vulnerabilities associated with that component. The reasoning behind this is to give insights to our end users on the reliability aspect of that component, right? So let's say you are using a Spring Core component in your mobile app and that has 100 CVEs raised against it historically, right? Then for a fact that will give you that insight that this is potentially a component that's not vulnerable and should be avoided ideally in terms of usage in building your applications, right? So that information is available here, and you can click on each of these CVEs and view more details about it. For the time being, you'll have to, you'll have to click that link and see more details. But in the immediate future, what will happen is you'll also get to see the affected versions and patched versions and related information in the product itself. So this bit of key information will get displayed inside our UI itself, so that the users don't have to navigate to get that, navigate to another site to get that information. So that is with respect to our SBOM. Along with this, we also have the reporting capability, like with the VAPT. We also support the PDF version of the report here. Plus, we also support the OWASP Cyclone DX, the compliance here, right? So OWASP has defined the guidelines in which an SBOM report should be generated, and we have support for that in terms of our OWASP Cyclone DX report. That's in a JSON format. That's available in a JSON format. That's it from my end. I hope you guys have at least a high level understanding of our core offerings and the add-ons that we talked about. Over to you, Harshit.
Sure. Thanks, Raghu. Let me quickly share my screen. So any doubt anybody has with respect to the product that our Appknox platform that Raghu quickly walked you guys through? If there is any question, we can take it up now or even at the later stage. I'll walk through one of the case study of our on-premise customer. It's one of the ministry in GCC region, where the challenge that the ministry was facing was they were relying on a lot of open source tools or in-house tools that the entire team was trying to run across. And in post-COVID, there has been a lot of reliability on mobile applications in general, not only for ministry, but for any business, any government to survive and be useful. So they have high dependency on mobile apps, and there is sensitive medical data of customers, digital healthcare solution, and other things that ministry had to make sure that is taken care of in right way. And the internal security team was relying on a lot of open source tools because they were not 100% sure of using any cloud-based solution. So they were looking at a more reliable and effective solution. So we started working with them, and before they were using Appknox, they were relying on these open source tools, which is first very difficult to set up. Second, it breaks a lot. So there is always constant work of fixing it or upgrading it required, which was very difficult for their in-house small team to manage on ongoing basis. With Appknox, we had automation. We had a full-fledged running tool, which they are relying on. We deployed on their premise. So the platform was available to them 24/7 without any issue, and with automation of DAS SaaS that we just walked through in the demo. And that made them go ahead and use Appknox. They have been working with us since more than 3 years, utilizing Appknox and its platform capabilities on ongoing basis. The second is quality of reports. So before Appknox, if they use any open source tool, and in fact any other mobile security platform automated vulnerability assessment engine, there are very high false positives, which creates lengthy reports, which ideally are not so useful because it becomes very difficult for them to identify which one to really look at between the noise. And that's where the issue of prioritizing and fixing was completely going off the trail. With Appknox, we ensure that we give 0 false positive, thus eliminating any concern on reliability or any issue that we point out. We have evidence-based testing process, so we tell where exactly what really was found, and businesses can take call by going through that in a matter of seconds, not even minutes. And the third was impact on mitigating. So before Appknox, they were raising multiple requests to get clarity on data that was there. Overall, that delayed overall them like fixing the issue and releasing the secured version, or even informing their partners that okay, this issue is there. They needed more evidence. They needed more idea on what really is the issue, and clarification on that, support and all. With Appknox, that completely goes again off the shelf, because any partner, if they face an issue, we have a very good 24/7 support system. Along with it, we have a proper documentation, and as I mentioned, our issue reporting is more evidence-based. So there is a relevant evidence in the report that helps businesses get clarity, developers get clarity not only on what exactly the issue is, but how exactly they can go back and fix issue, thus decreasing the time of mitigating the issue and releasing the secured version. So this was one of our on-prem enterprise ministry that we had deployed in the region where we have been working with them. We are working with a lot of ministries in GCC, where we have deployed our platform on-prem, also on cloud. We are SOC 2 and ISO 27001 compliant, so our platform offers complete security even if they are on cloud, but depends on how enterprises and ministries work. And we all know ministries generally prefer on-prem, so we have support for that as well. Coming on the next slide. So this is again the review from one of our on-prem GCC region custom itself, where they said it is a one-stop solution for entire mobile app security needs. The tool consolidates everything. I find Appknox Dash as one of the very cool feature. It is constantly evolving, and I'm very excited to explore the new store monitoring feature as well. I'll talk about partnerships since we have a lot of channel partners on the call today. So what are benefits that partners will get with Appknox? So one of the first point is get entry into enterprise account. With Appknox, since it's mobile app vulnerability assessment is very commonly done by any of the enterprises and ministries. So with Appknox, you don't have to pitch and tell them that problem exists. They already know that they have high dependency on mobile app, and security is primary over there. So you don't have to pitch a lot around problem, but majorly focus on how their current process of mobile app security can be replaced with much better automated platform that exists and is used by a lot of enterprises. With that, it's very easy entry to enterprise accounts where you can upsell and cross-sell other of your offerings very easily once you are in there. That is one of the things which a lot of our channel partners have been talking around and have been working with us, because it is very standard. We are recommended by Gartner. We are leader in mobile security, so it's very easy pitch talking about offering a solution. Plus, it's POC driven, so any prospect who is interested will go through a POC cycle, and we have a very high rate of POC to customer conversion. So you just have to get an early interest, then POC and everything gets sorted, and we will make sure that the prospect gets converted to customer. Enablement and training for your team. We ensure that each of your sales rep and your team knows what we do. It's again very simple to use platform, as we just had a quick walkthrough of it. Even if you are not a security specialist, you would know how to use the platform and get results from it that can be utilized by your team, by your prospect team. So very simple to get training and onboard your team for sales for our platform. Best in class customer support. In fact, in Gartner review also, we are one of the highest rated in application security. In that as well, our support is rated as one of the top in the entire application security testing landscape. So we really feel proud of the way we handle and pamper our customers and prospects, make sure that we resolve all of their queries, listen to them, and work on future upgrades of our platform on ongoing basis. So that is also shown by our 100% retention rate across all enterprise accounts since we have been working with them, where we have some of these Fortune 100 clients we have been working for more than 6 to 7 years, enabling mobile security assessments for them. This is the case study of one of our Indonesian partner, RML. They are cybersecurity distributors in the region. They were already selling a lot of web application security tools. They were selling SCA tool. They were selling web app and app obfuscation tools, but they had a gap on mobile security assessment because that is growing. And as I just mentioned, post COVID, there has been a high dependency of any enterprise, any government, any ministry on mobile applications. So there was a requirement that was emerging. So with RML, we started working 2.5 years back. We provided them a bridge where they could use our platform to showcase demo to their customers. The second major benefit they got was access to most number of test cases in this space around mobile application security testing. And it's a plug and play platform, so that gives them an opportunity to ask their customer to do a POC or get started immediately as and when they require, and pause it as and when they don't require. depending on how their release cycle is, how many applications they have, and depending on their requirement, plus flexibility in engagement that we offer over and above that. So these were some of the reasons why we started working with RML. And with RML in last 1.5 to 2 years, we have started working with 4+ government ministries in Indonesia, 2 biggest banks in the region, and 5+ enterprises, which has overall generated more than $100,000 of revenue for them and for us, which are mostly all renewable, all contracts that are getting renewed every year with zero churn, as I mentioned. So we are growing business with them, and similarly with other channel partners in other regions as well. This is another feedback from one of our another channel partner who is the company name is Tyler's, where we started with a partner program. We did a lot of webinars in the region with them. We have a partner success manager that is dedicated to Tyler's, who ensures that all the prospects and all the customers that we are working with them seamlessly get customer support, onboarding experience, to make sure that the prospects are pampered, customers are pampered, and they get what they pay for, and they get their queries resolved, all the upgrades that they really want to go through or that they foresee in their requirement gets communicated back to us, so that we keep on adding those features in our platform. That's one of the area which we are very, very proactive on. As Raghu just mentioned, we have released in this year itself 2 major add-ons, store monitoring and SBOM. Now, mobile SBOM is something that is probably first in the industry that we have launched, and that too in depth, talking around mobile application security, specific SBOM requirements, which distinguishes us from any other platform that offers mobile security in general. So yep, that's very briefly about us, about Appknox. I'm happy to take up questions if any of you have anything you would like to know more about Appknox, about the engagement, how it works, platform, or anything and everything about the company. If you guys have, please let us know. We can take up questions from here, and then we can go to the final slide. Let me quickly open the chat. Sorry, might have to stop sharing the screen. Okay. If there is any question, Karthik, can we give people an option to unmute themselves, or it'll be only over chat?
Yeah, it'll be over only chat, and they can just enter the questions that they're willing to ask in the chat panel.
Okay. And if you have any question, please mention in the chat. We'll take it up. How you license it? So yeah, our licensing works per application. So enterprises might have different number of applications. So depending on how many applications they want to subscribe to for a year, and it is per app per year pricing. So if an enterprise has got 10 applications, then we'll bill them for 10 apps for a year. And then mostly these are multi-year contracts. These can be limited to 1 year as well, and can be 3 or 5 years. Along with it, the platform that we just showcased is a cloud offering. We also have on-prem option. If they go for on-prem option, then the licensing will vary depending on on-prem. There's a separate licensing methodology for on-prem. The other question is for integration, any additional charge. So we have standard integrations that we offer on our platform that can be used by their team to integrate. In case they want to integrate anything apart from that, we do have customized integrations that we do with the enterprises as well. So yes, it depends which integration they want to go ahead with. If they go with standard integrations, we have multiple suite of integrations that we already offer from the platform. So if they go with that, it's free of charge. Otherwise, there might be a small additional charge. From Sachin, any USP we can talk about with competition? Definitely, there are a lot of it. Starting with one is we offer real-time dynamic application security testing. So as Raghu was showcasing, these are real devices. So any other platform, nobody shows DAST in real time. So they try to do the DAST in either simulators or in devices, but they don't show the screen. So the complete DAST is not done. There is always incompleteness in DAST. The second is test cases that we cover in DAST and all. The third is SBOM that we just released. So none of the competitors have SBOM, and with growing supply chain dependency, every application is ideally a mixture and combination of a lot of these third-party components and all. So it is very, very critical for an enterprise to have clarity on what third-party components they are using and which of these are vulnerable. So it's increasing with respect to requirement for enterprises. They are looking at how they can get clarity on what are these third-party components, open source components that app is using, and are they vulnerable or not. So there's a big landscape of vulnerability that sits over there, and we make sure we cover that with this test case. So these are some 2-3 top USPs. Apart from that, we have we cover a lot of compliances which include PCI DSS, HIPAA, different regional compliances. So yep, those are the ones. From Thiru, is there any limitation for iOS, Android on application in terms of costing? Is it different for both versions? No, it's same for both the versions. Test cases are different because of the OS being different, but there is no difference in costing or anything with respect to any of the versions. If it's Android or iOS, it's considered as one app for us. Can we have some battle cards? Sachin, we do have battle cards. We can share that with Bulwark team. They can share it back with you. We have case studies. The one that I showcased was a slide, but we have very detailed case studies for different sectors of customers and other competitive landscape battle cards that we can share. Biju, your question on POC. Yes, we do give POCs. So in case any of your prospect is interested, we have POC. We give complete support. We have a very dedicated playbook for POCs. We ensure that because a lot of our enterprises goes from POC to closure, that is a general closure lifecycle. So for any prospect or big enterprise that gets in, we have a POC concept for them, and we enable and make sure that we give them a real experience POC so that they know how platform works, how it adds value.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul here. Since we have sales and technical guys here, just a quick question from my side so when we talk about a positioning of the product, like which vertical is the best industry wherein we can target on?
Yeah. So if you look at some of the top industries, one is ministries, definitely, as I just showcased a case study, where we add a lot of value in the region. Apart from that, banking is another vertical where we have been working with a couple of banks. We do work with a lot of banks in Southeast Asia, GCC in Qatar, in UAE, we work with some of the top banks. So that is another vertical. The third is airlines, and fourth is oil, gas and energy. So ideally, these are top 4 verticals where we have seen a very good impact for enterprises where they've got value. We have proven case study in these verticals. Some of the top customers that we have been working in these verticals, for example, in oil and gas, we work with Shell. Energy, we work with Linde. So these are some of the top leaders in each of these verticals where we have been adding value for their mobile applications. In FMCG, we work with Unilever. Similarly, we have other verticals where we have enabled a lot of enterprises. In GCC, very specifically, we cannot name the clients because we work with channel partners in the region where we don't have access to name them, but we have created case studies for similar clients for Middle East, and we can share those in case that is required.
Thanks, Harshit. Typically, what will be a sales cycle or a closure time frame which we'll be talking about any customer?
Yeah. So again, this varies on what size of customer are we talking about. If it's ministry or any bigger deal, then the general process is RFP through RFP, which can take 3 to 6 months. If it's otherwise enterprise, if we talk about airlines and all, then it is within 3 months we get closures on any of these enterprises. And the cycle looks almost similar. The only difference is there will be a separate RFP process post they go through POCs. But the initial way is where we identify, we try to reach out to them, once they show the interest, we walk them through a POC cycle, which takes 2 weeks in average. It can vary from 1 week to 3 weeks, depending on what are internal permissions required, how big is the team, what is the requirement they have. And once POC is done, then it's all about them looking at other vendors, comparing it, going through what really are the integrations and other aspects that they might need over a longer period, followed by all legal requirements and RFP. If RFP comes in, then all RFP required items, which at times can be a named RFP as well, and at times it can be a generic mobile app security RFP that we have to pitch in, but we have clarity because we have spoken with the client on what exactly they're looking for, and it's mostly feature driven after going through Appknox demo itself. Yeah. Does it answer your question, Rahul?
Yeah, yes, thanks, Harshit. Also, we can support or we can help the partners with the RFP template if it is required, right?
Yeah, we will be there. Yeah, we have a dedicated team that will work with you in case we get an RFP and any of the partner is filing it for it. We'll be working with you very closely in ensuring that we fill the RFP and we try and get that.
Thanks, thanks, Harshit.
Biju, we support both Android and iOS. Raghu is already replied. So, any other question? Okay, I think so. I'll reshare my screen. Yeah, so that's it. Rahul, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Harshit. Yeah, we have one more question, I think. Yeah,
I just
to Windows.
So Windows, yeah. So no, we so mobile app Windows has been already come to end of life. They have themselves stopped supporting it. So we don't support Windows application because in mobile it is almost gone. There has been no support from Windows itself for mobile applications. So it's little irrelevant overall, the Windows applications nowadays. Mobile, I'm talking about very specifically, not desktop apps. So yep, there is no support for that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, thanks, Harshit. So I think, thank you all. Yeah, I think you provide any training. Yeah.
Yes, we do have, yeah. So if your sales team is there, we do provide training to them to enable them for selling in the region. We can definitely speak more about it. We are currently building a more robust training process as well. In case you are interested, we can put you in through that and take feedbacks. That is in beta, closed beta, but we can definitely experiment that. And in case any of you are interested, you can just write back to Bulwark or to us, and we'll take it up from there. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Thiru, for compliment. Yeah.
Thank you all who have turned up today for spending your time on the webinar. So what we'll do as a follow-up, we'll be extending you with the recordings and with some data sheets as a follow-up mail to you all. You can always reach out to me or your concerned channel partner for further assistance on any requirement on that. Also, thank you, Harshit and Mr. Raghu, for extending your time as well, for helping the partners understand the solution. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great day.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you all.
Take care.